Check out these colors. Don't they scream fall? That's my favorite time of year. I love the colors of fall. And today we're going to make a card by creating a background. Now I said a card, actually we're going to make 4 out of 1 background that we create. Hi, I'm Linda Anderson from Linda Lou Creates. Thanks for joining me. Now I have all of these gorgeous colors. Let me show you the stamp set that we're going to also use. It is called Love of Leaves, and it comes from the Holiday Mini Catalog. And so, creating our own background. Yes, we are going to do that with our stamps and inks. And to create the 4 cards, I'm going to stamp my background onto an 8.5 by 11 sheet of Very Vanilla. So let's get started. All right, so here I have one of the leaves. I'm going to go with my Old Olive ink. Now this is a pretty large leaf. A lot of the leaves in this stamp set are on the larger side. So don't be afraid of them, okay? So we're just going to start stamping. Now the biggest thing, well actually 2 tips I'm going to have for you on stamping a background is make sure, number 1, that your stamps are, you're doing them randomly. I don't want to go all in a row, going all in the same direction. I want to make sure that I turn my stamp, turn my paper, any or both. And the other tip I have is make sure that you always have them going off the edge. That is going to give you a more, I don't know, natural, I don't know if that's the word I want, but it definitely does make it for creating a fabulous background. Now I want to spend more time on the background than actually the cards. So the cards themselves are going to be very, very simple. And I kind of like that. So no need to get real fussy with anything. Let me do one more of these. When we get started with this, it kind of looks like, oh man, that looks kind of messy. But wait, you have all of these stamps in order to create. So let me hurry up and close up this ink pad. Next, I'm going to come in with Bumblebee, one of the new in colors. Now, Bumblebee will be around for 2 years because it just came out this year. So, all right, and here is this leaf and the Bumblebee ink. So I like to turn, like I said, turn your paper, make sure your stamps are all going in different directions. Now I'm going to be stamping 4 different leaves out of this stamp set. Then a lot of stamps have what I call filler stamps. They're small, maybe just dots or you know, like snowflakes or something small that you can fit in wherever you need. This stamp set, however, does not have that. It has a small leaf, which I am going to use on this, but it doesn't have any of those little filler type of stamps. I've got a trick for you on that. And you are not going to believe the tool that I am going to pull out to use for that. So let me do one more here of the Bumblebee. Okay, there we go. Let me close this up. Next color. We're not looking too bad, huh? It's, you know, it's starting to fill in, starting to look, you know, kind of cool and random. That's what I like. I like that it's like almost like I picked up a handful of leaves and dropped them down on my paper. That's what I want it to look like. Just sort of, I don't want to say messy, but again, random, that, you know, there was no plan to do it. They just dropped down onto the paper. All right, a couple more here of the rich raspberry. Because when I was picking my colors, I wanted red, some sort of a red. And at first I thought, oh, Cajun Craze would be great. That's a rusty kind of a red. And then I saw Rich Razzleberry in my stash of stuff, of inks, and I'm like, oh, there we go. That's the one I want. And I feel like I need something right in here. Remember, you can always go back to fill it in, you know, once you get it stamped. So that's why I like to start with just a few at first, and then I work my way around. So let me get something here in this corner. All right. Now, for my fourth color, I am using pumpkin pie. And notice how I kind of went from the biggest stamp and now I'm slowly coming down to the smallest. So here is the pumpkin pie and one of the smallest leaves in this set. So again, just turning the stamp or turning the paper. You can do both. Let's just, you know, making sure that you're going off the edge. That's always a must, I feel, to just make it look natural. Like I said, like you just dropped a handful of leaves onto your paper. And then step back and look at it. You know, that never hurts either. All right, I do want to get a little bit more orange in there with this pumpkin pie. So let me just put a couple in here. Something I want right here. See a few empty spots. I don't want to overdo it because I have one more filler stamp that I want to share with you, and we can fill in a lot of these empty spots with that. All right, one more. I know, I should stop while I'm ahead, right? So, and there. Okay, let me close this up. Take a look at that. First of all, the colors are stunning. That's, you know, that I love. But I feel like there's still a few little spots that need a little something. Well, I'm pulling in my cinnamon cider. Just like the Bumblebee, it is one of the newest in colors. It will be around for like 2 years. And are you ready for this? Here is the fancy schmancy, excuse me, tool that I'm going to use. A pencil. A new pencil, especially with an unused eraser, because this is what I'm going to use as my filler stamp. So I ink up my eraser. And boom, there we go. Like I said, you can look into another stamp set. You might have something similar to this. If you don't, here is the latest and greatest. The eraser on a pencil. Okay, so I'm just going to go through, find out all my empty spots, making sure that I get some here going off the edge. Again, try and be very random with where you place these. Anywhere that you see sort of an empty spot. Okay, almost done. I'm going to keep going just a little bit more. Like I said, I wanted to use this video to share more the creating of the background. The cards are very simple. And so they will go, excuse me, together, excuse me, again, in no time. I will have a free tutorial, look for it down in the description of this video, that you can pick up on how to create the cards. And that is yours to take and use and have fun with. Okay, what do you think? I feel like I just have to add one more because this is just so much fun. And there you go. Those little dots are all thanks to the eraser of a pencil. Now, what are we going to do with this? For the cards that I've created, what I wanted to do is I'm going to cut this into 4 pieces. I want these to be the backgrounds of my cards. So let me get this put into place. Let's go up here so I can make sure I'm in frame. And we're going to go, I'm going to start on the 4. Okay. And I'm going to cut these at 5 1/4 by 4. All right. So here's where you just might need, once you cut your pieces, take a look at them. You might need to add more of those dots, the cinnamon cider, with the eraser. All right. So 5 1/4. Okay. And 5 1/4. And I'll show you what I mean, because depending on what you cut off, the piece might look a little empty. So let's see. Let me get these. I want to hurry up and get them cut. And we'll see what we've got. Now remember, these stamps are big. They make, I don't know, do they make a busy background? Sort of. You know, I guess, you know, it depends on how you look at it. But for the cards, I definitely wanted the background to shine. So let's take a look at the background pieces. So these are looking actually kind of good. So here's another one. Here's one. Oh, it looks like I might need to add a few little dots down here. So let me get out my eraser and my cinnamon cider. See how I want to balance this out, get a few more dots down here. And that was all because of the way we cut it. All right, and one more. I might add just a couple. So let me do that here, and kind of one off the edge down there. Okay, so there we go. Here are our 4 pieces that are going to become part of our card. All right, so we're going to make 4 cards. Let me close up my ink pad and let's get started on the cards. Card number 1. Whoops. Let me just tell you though, first of all of the cards, I have cinnamon cider for the card base, and it measures 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. That's for all 4 cards. Inside, I popped in a piece of 5 1/4 by 4 of the Very Vanilla and stamped on the inside for what I wanted my insides to say. Now, I went ahead and just put down to save time. And here, I'm actually kind of mixing in another stamp set from the mini catalog that is called Beautiful Autumn. I love a couple of the sentiments that are in here and the font that they used. So I'm using that for these cards. So I have a Very Vanilla strip here, 4 1/4 wide, 3/4 of an inch, 4 1/4 in length, sorry, and then 3/4 of an inch wide. I used Rich Razzleberry. I made it 1 inch wide, and then again 4 1/4. Because of the busyness, so to speak, of the background, I didn't want the sentiment to get lost, so I wanted to make sure that I had a wide border on with my Rich Razzleberry. So I'm just going to pop this right down here, kind of near the bottom, and all I have to add on now is my bow. My bow is made out of linen thread. I got 2 pieces, kind of stacked them on top of each other, tied a bow. That's it. And here it is. I pop it on a mini glue dot, and I'm just going to kind of pop it right there. Now I have gilded gems. These are beautiful. I love these gilded gems, and I'm going to put them on here. Let's use 2 of the smaller ones here. You probably can't see it with all of my scratch paper being covered with all the leaves that we stamped. So, all right, card number 1 is complete. So there we go, using one of our 5 1/4 by 4 inch pieces of the background we created. Card number 2. Again, I already have adhered down my 5 1/4 by 4 inch background piece. And this time, again from that beautiful autumn stamp set, in Old Olive ink, I did the sentiment, and then I die cut it, and a cinnamon cider from the Stitched Shapes dies. So that will be going there. I'm getting ahead of myself. And this piece of Rich Razzleberry, like I said, I feel like I need a matte of some sort, something on the dark side, to help make the sentiment pop. Otherwise, I'm afraid it would get lost amongst all the leaves. So this is 1.5 inch wide, 4 inches long. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get this adhered down. Okay, kind of closer to the top. I guess I should make sure that I am doing it the right direction. All right. Yes, I did do something on the inside too. I always like to stamp something on the inside of my cards. Okay, so I have my 2 stitched shape circles adhered together. So let's get the dimensionals on them, ready to go to the front of the card. All right. Here we go with that. A couple of the gilded gems, actually 3 to be exact. And all 3 different sizes, or there's 3 different sizes, so there we go. All right, now it's time to put on a bow. There is linen thread bows on all 4 of these cards. There is the gilded gems on all 4 of the cards. So I just wanted to make sure, and like I said, keep them simple. So the supplies, you get 1 sort of stack of cardstock in each color, some linen thread, some gems. You're good to go if you have the inks too. Okay, card number 2. Excuse me again. The 3rd card, this time we're going to go in the opposite direction. We're going to make it go horizontal. And I have this already adhered down. My Rich Razzleberry strip on this one is 1 inch wide by 4. And then I just wrapped some linen thread around twice. Okay. Here for my sentiment, this one actually comes from the Love of Leaves stamp set. So this font is more delicate, so that's why I want to make sure that I have, with this busy background, I have a nice border around of something solid, and that's why I went with the pumpkin pie on this one. So I used not only the stitched shaped dies, but this is the layering circle dies to get the scallop out. All right, so let's kind of slip this under wherever you want it. Adhere that down because I do love my dimensionals. Okay, the mini glue dot where I'm going to press that down in there. When you pull it, that mini glue dot will hang with it. I just like to kind of smush it up a little bit so that it's under that knot and it won't be sticky at all whenever you push it down from the front. Okay, so there's the bow there. Gilded gem. Yep, I said there were gilded gems on all of these. So let's get one on, and I am going to pop it right here. Let me tell you something. I tried putting the embellishments on the background, and I did not like the way they turned out. It was they blended in too much, and it just distracted me. So I've decided to put my gilded gems within any of these additional pieces that I adhere down. So inside again is with my Very Vanilla and stamped on the inside. Okay, last card. Told you these would be quick. So again, the same cinnamon cider card base for this one. All right, we're going horizontal again on it. This time the sentiment is highlighted with the Rich Razzleberry, and I did the banner cutting, I actually used this punch, this Banners Pick-a-Punch. And the vanilla here that is stamped, this is 3/4 wide, while the Rich Razzleberry is 1 inch wide. And you know, as far as the length goes, it's kind of how you want it to be, the length. And then just trim it down. I like to start with a longer strip, and then by the time I do the banner cut, I have room to then cut it off as well. So kind of play with it and see as far as the length goes. All right, so here we go. This time I wrapped 5 strands of the linen thread around, and then adhered down my panel here. So here's the final thing with the 1 inch Rich Razzleberry, 3/4 inch vanilla. So all I'm going to do here is adhere this down, just using my glue. Let's see if I can get it to come out. There we go. Now, sometimes before I actually put it down, I figure where I'm going to want my bow. So I'm going to figure out then where I'm going to slip in my sentiment. Okay, about right there. All right, bow time. Yeah, this time I made this one even longer. I do about 2 pieces, and they measure around 12 inches long, like I said, and then double them up to tie your bow. So it depends as far as how long you want your tails. This one, of course, is the longest of the tails, and I kind of like that. The other ones, I kind of preferred that the tails were a little bit on the shorter side. All right, just one of the gilded gems, and the 4th card is complete. All right, so let me bring the cards in that we just made with all 4 pieces of our handmade background using the Love of Leaves stamp set. So here we go. Hey, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, look down in the description of this video for the free tutorial. And also, while you're here, why don't you subscribe to my YouTube channel? I would love it if you join me every week to watch my videos. I do have a blog, lindaloucreates.com. And if you head over there, you would be able to subscribe to my newsletter then. And that comes out then generally once a week. And it features not only what you see here, but some other cards that I've created and some what's new and what's happening in Stampin' Up. So if you're ever in need of a Stampin' Up demonstrator and don't have one, I would love to help you out on that. And like I said, subscribe. You could email me, leave a comment down here. But I appreciate you guys stopping by, and I hope you get a chance to create today. Bye now.